Hey there, Internet. So today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips for the Kodak Orbit camera, which I got right here. This is a partially biased review because Kodak sent this to me for free. I don't have 10 tips yet because I recently got it, but here are the top 5 that I would say. First of all, always keep it in the case when you're not using it, and put a lens cloth in there because this is something you're going to need when you're on set. Tip number 2, when you're filming with this camera, always remember to take the lens caps off. I like to personally put them in the case so that way I don't lose them, but this will get you better stitching when you're recording with the camera. You can see there are 2 different size lenses there. One is a massive fisheye and one is a little bit more like telephoto style. So tip number 3, 2, I'm losing count here, but basically you're going to want to film with this side of the camera for your main subject, and the reason being is that the fisheye will warp the shot a bit more, and so this will give you greater detail and sharpness. So that's the lens that I usually shoot with when I'm framing it. I'll put the actor or the subject right there and frame it like that. However, if you're filming somebody that you know is going to break the 180 and move around a little bit more like this in the sides, then you might want to frame it with the bigger fisheye. So it all sort of depends on what you're going to be using it for. The other recommendation I would make, I think this is tip number 3 or 4, always put your name on it somewhere. I put mine on the bottom here. That's a good place because you can't really put it on the sides or on this side. It's a little bit more obscured. Also, when you're stitching the footage and you do take the lens caps off, make sure using the stitching software you check the box that says you took the lens caps off, because there are 2 different ways that you can stitch it if you leave it on or take it off. When you're not using it, I recommend you put them back on, but I always shoot with them off because that's the way that you will get the best footage out of it. My 4th tip is to always, if you're planning to do a time-lapse, don't shoot in the regular mode, shoot in time-lapse mode because you'll get a higher resolution than if you're just shooting regular video. This is a camera that I think is really great for doing time-lapses and photography. It has a lower frame rate than most 360 cameras, but that's fine for time-lapse, it's fine for photography, and you really do get a beautiful image out of it. So I highly recommend it. And my 5th tip that I would recommend is do not turn on the Wi-Fi. There's a little Wi-Fi button there. If you turn it on, it will kill your battery really quick. The only thing that you get out of the Wi-Fi is you're able to see, the shot in your phone, but I really don't recommend doing that. I recommend just shooting with it blind. Maybe you use the Wi-Fi just to check and see what it will look like at first, but I highly recommend not using the Wi-Fi when you're filming with the camera. So those are my 5 tips for the Kodak Orbit, which is a beautiful, nice little camera. And again, this is a partially biased review because Kodak sent me this camera. I'm going out with them to CES in a couple weeks. I can't talk too much about what's going to happen at CES, but this camera will be on display there, and you can see some really cool footage that was shot with it while you're there. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this live 360 video or you're interested in getting the Orbit, I am going to include a link in the description below to my Amazon influencer page where you can find this camera, and you can also find the Yi camera, which is the camera I'm using to record this live 360 using my phone. That's pretty much it. As you can see, if you look around the room, I'm all packed up. I'm flying today from the East Coast in Connecticut all the way back out west to Berkeley where I live. So didn't really have big video for today, but thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and check out the next video.